Hello, friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Viewpoint with Sajal. Namaste, Sat Sri Akal, and God bless you all. People, in the light of whatever is happening in the war that is going on between Russia and Ukraine, I have been thrown a couple of questions which are very much relevant as to how much of impact this ongoing war and the stand that India has taken in the UNGA, United Nations Security Council, how will this impact and what changes will it bring to Indo-US ties, or for that matter, the Western world with India? So quickly, I would not be taking much of the time. We need to understand, like in my last video, I've already I've mentioned that Ukraine is one country who has never supported us. Ukraine in the United Nations has never ever supported the cause of India. Even so much so, be it 1957, 62, 65, 71, whenever there was a requirement on the Kashmir issue, never ever. Ukraine has always voted against us. This is what I mentioned. So much so, Ukraine has also voted against the permanent membership of India into United Nations Security Council in the UNSC. So this is the country which is there on one side. Secondly, what we are talking about, what we are comparing with is Russia. Now, people, it's a long history and it's a time-tested, proven history, proven track record, and Russia has been all-weather friends with India. Be it any point in time, Russia has vetoed so many times on Kashmir in favor of India. So much so, if I don't know how many of you. I mean, when I'm saying how many of you, I'm referring to the kids who are maybe 15, 20 years or whatever of the age group. I mean, it was the Seventh Fleet that United States actually embarked towards India in the 1971 war, which was started by Pakistan. Countries like Jordan, Great Britain, why should I call it great? Let's call it UK. And the entire Western world and the Gulf countries, they also sent their navies towards India. And that was the time when, then Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi established a contact with Russian government. And at that time, it was like, the USSR. And we have a treaty that any attack on USSR would be taken as an attack on India. Any attack on India would be taken as an attack on USSR. So, however, at that point in time, there was a grim situation wherein when she contacted the Russian counterpart, the Russian government, it was a delay. However, once the Russians, they realized through their satellites, through their network, there was a whole fleet of submarines that was immediately disembarked towards the western coast of India, wherein the Seventh Fleet of U.S. Navy was approaching, heavily armed, extremely heavily armed with the best of its kind, the fighter jets, the bombers, the helicopters. And at that point in time, we just had one, aircraft carrier, which was not even, a one-third or one-fourth of the size of the aircraft carrier that US actually was sending to attack India, which comprised of Seventh Fleet. Now, when we say a fleet is like, whenever this, what you call as this warship, a giant warship, which was like 70,000 tons of weightage, aircraft carrier rather, when it moves, it doesn't move alone. It carries on. Along with this kind of an aircraft, lot many of what you call destroyers, frigates, submarines. It's like a whole group of it. Now, what did Russia do at that time? Russia mobilized its submarine fleet and nuclear submarines as well, and they just simply came up on the surface of the water in front of the Seventh Fleet, and that is how when this Seventh Fleet that ran away, that actually decided to move away. And this is what the Pakistanis, the journalists, I keep hearing them, and this is what they keep doing their chest thumping. या खुदा वो बैरी बेड़ा सातवां बैरी बेड़ा कहाँ गया था वो 71 में. So that is all. I mean, now coming back to what we are getting as Indians, and what is the diplomacy that is taking place. Now, let me tell you, people, a couple of things very clear, categorically and clearly. Look, I've been asked a question: if India, because now US is starting to mount pressure on India to vote against Russia, since India has been abstaining. India has been abstaining, and India will continue to do that without any choice. There are no ifs and buts. Even United States knows this. The entire Western world know this very categorically. However, we at that time never, became the part of any bloc, and today as well, we shall not be the part of any bloc. Now, this war which is going on is only because of the Badmash United States and the vested interest they have in Europe and elsewhere. Now, it is being asked, and people are making, certain questions, that what about the Quad? What about the Quad that has been formed? And the Quad members are India, Australia, Japan, and America. So, people, we need to understand one thing very, very categorically and very clearly. I mean, the objectives, whenever there is a consortium or any group that is being formed, it is formed with an objective. It is laid down categorically, either if it contains a preamble or if it contains a charter. So, everything is categorically mentioned. Now, this Quad is being formed to counter China. So no way it is linked with whatever else is happening around the world. So India cannot be pressurized, and India should not be pressurized, and India will not be pressurized until it is the regime of Narendra Modi. It will not be and never be pressurized. Even this is something which America also knows. The most recent statement just today that we heard from France, what do you call it, envoy of France in India, he has categorically backed upon India's stated diplomacy and right now the stand that India is holding. People, today India has been made in last 6 7 years. It has actually evolved like a huge relevant to the relevant countries, unlike Pakistan, Somalia, Yemen, Afghanistan, blah blah blah. So let me put this across very categorically. Even if the heavens fall, nobody on this planet called Earth can actually push India on the world. One more very important thing that I would like to state out here. I mean, I just got to hear one incident, and that when President Putin, he used to live in Petersburg, there was a rat that entered his room. So what he did, he tried to corner that rat, and he did that successfully. However, when that rat found himself to be cornered and could not, manage, he pounced, he retaliated, and he literally pounced on Putin, and so much so with such an aggression that Putin has to make way himself out of the room. So that was the learning what he has shared, that whenever you corner somebody, the person will retaliate even stronger. So this is the mistake what the Western world is making right now. If you think that Putin will bow down, please come out of your hangover. Besides this, I would say, if I have been a Ukrainian, I would always, in fact, my children, and this is something which I'm making a statement right now, and this will you will get to see in the future. I'll be the one who would be cursing, abusing, and giving all sorts of uh, adjectives to this comedian who has actually ruined the entire country. He has ruined the entire country. He might be having pre-shot videos, because whatever he's presenting in a house. Like right now, I'm shooting a video, so it doesn't qualify that he is there in Ukraine. But then this comedian has actually ruined the country. So to all my friends in Ukraine who are the born citizens, to all my friends in Russia who are the Russians living in Ukraine, all I can say is my heart goes out. I mean, this comedian has made a mockery. He has played with your lives, and it is something, on the tunes, the singing and dancing. I mean, singing and tunes, and dancing on America and the western part. I mean, there are 13 NATO countries. I mean, they themselves are not united today. Take my words. Even they are not united. So, people, this is a. I mean, it's something which I'm presenting as a fact. I may not be an expert in international politics, but I'm not a dumb person who doesn't understand, who doesn't actually go through what is happening, who doesn't understand, realize, and can equate. So this fellow should be taken as a, I mean, he's going to be remembered as a black spot on Ukraine. Take my words today, and this is going to be happening. Second thing, I mean, after this, I mean, what is next? Now, what next is a complete devastation in Ukraine, which we are foreseeing and which is there on the cards. I have a message. I have a message, and this message is to the states, to the volatile states like Pakistan, Yemen, Afghanistan, that do not get yourself indulged. Do not be pampered. Make your presence felt by way of economy, GDP, and otherwise things would be like this, what is happening. To my friends, a very few friends rather, who would be watching or who actually watch maybe my video on YouTube from Pakistan, trust you me guys, if tomorrow India starts to invade Pakistan, let me take my words back. Even if India deploy 500,000 army on your borders, starting from Gujarat till Kashmir, imagine the cost that is required for that kind of a deployment on each day. You are, as it is, bankrupt. How many days can you sustain with such kind of eyeball to eyeball or a mirror deployment with India? हमारे पास, we have our foreign reserves of about $650 billion का, $650 billion worth of foreign reserves we have. We already have our army deployed in Ladakh along LAC. We are taking care of China there. Hardly matters. I mean, it's already, we have, ample amount of our military being deployed there. But then imagine if we heat up your border there. And this is what I actually wanted to convey to Ajit Doval, to our defense minister, our prime minister. Why did you actually went ahead and signed or agreed for, this, what you call as ceasefire in January 2020? In January 2020. This is the time when the Pakistan has been virtually hit, and it is bleeding in Baluchistan, it is bleeding in Sindh. And now if you heat up the border with India, with Pakistan, I mean, the LOC, entire LOC, this country is, as it is crippling. I mean, it is crippling. It's the game is all over for them. The good news is FATF's recent decision is that these guys were planning, the Katura Khan was conveying to the country of his, what do you call, the con, that we would come out of FATF. The FATF has maintained them for another year in the grey list. And whatever they're doing, they have no brains. This Katura Khan is visiting Russia, meeting Putin. And the statement he's giving is, oh, what a great time that I visit. I'm really excited. I mean, what are you trying to showcase? You're poking Biden. You're poking the Western world. Then what about your Katura? What about IMF? What about Asian Development Bank? From where will you borrow more money? And that is precisely what is happening. So they have gone out of their brains. So to just quickly sum up, do not worry. India is going good, and we are actually going good. But trust you me, imagine if there is an enemy who is getting to have an access at your doorstep, anybody and everybody would definitely retaliate or protest. So this is what is happening. This is what is the precise, conflict. People, have you noticed one thing? Have you noticed one thing? Why NATO? And this NATO, which is having United States at, the big boss, initially, I mean, a month back, they were provoking Ukraine to go ahead, and they would come with the boots on ground and they would support Ukraine like anything. But now, did you see for how many number of days even before the Russia actually started the assault, they backed out. And now what NATO is saying is that if we send boots on ground, if we declare a war, if we come, and attack Russia, it is a clear case of a third world war. And yes, it is indeed, because you are a group of 30 countries. So 30 countries, if you're coming together, attacking one country, of course, it's a world war. So then what is left? So any which ways, I mean, these are dumbasses. I mean, all I can say is be aware of a mad dog called America. Be aware of a mad dog called America. That's my message for all the peace-loving countries, all the peace-loving mankind, I mean, human beings as well. I mean, this is something which is, I don't know if I understand this much. Why can't others who are much more educated, who call themselves the champions of international diplomacy and stuff like that? Any which ways, people. So I won't take much of your time. So I'm just winding up this video. Even I'm tired. Generally, I shoot video in the evenings after I get over from my office. So I won't take much of your time. So any which ways, thanks very much for actually, and the love and affection that you people are giving to me by calling me over the phone and uh, viewing my videos, liking my videos, uh, commenting as well. Though the comments are a little bit low, but then people are commenting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta. So, anyways, thank you very much. Keep encouraging me, and I'll be coming and talking and putting across relevant things to all of you. Take care. Good night.